So you are about to start your YouTube channel, or you already have one. You've got the ideas.
You know me very well.
Who I am?
There it is. Thanks.
Wow.
And at this point, you probably also have the gear. And now, you think you need a fancy studio. The backdrop, neon lights, props, a lot of space. But what if I told you you don't really need any of those? 1 second. Much better. You see, when I started my first YouTube channel, not this one, but the one about motorbikes, I thought I needed a huge studio, a fancy studio, like the ones I had seen in the bigger, huge channels like Peter McKinnon and so on. But the truth is that you don't actually need so much to make your pieces to camera look good or at least decent. And living in a 60 square meters in Vienna like I do, where I don't have space for anything. I have no more rooms, this is it, and the bedroom. I have no free walls, as you see. There's something on the walls all over the place, so I can't use them as a backdrop. I had to come up with another sort of solution. At first, I thought that probably an RGB light next to me, next to the camera, would be enough. But usually I would get either the white balance wrong, or my skin will look like very bright, very shiny, and the shadows were not very kind on your face. And I know that most of you don't really care about that, but some brands do. And I think that's important if you want to make YouTube some sort of long-term project for you. And well, that was the point where I decided, okay, I need to go for a more pro kind of setup. And the issue is whenever you write pro on Google, things get very expensive. So the challenge was to look for something that is light, portable, affordable, and that it can give you that professional look without much hassle. So after a little bit of digging, I end up with the two options essentially: the Aperture 200D, which is the one that we use in the company, and I already knew it worked, and it was plenty of power to light this room. And the other option, which is the one I actually end up ordering, is the Smallrig 220D, a daylight light. That it goes more or less for the same price, but it comes with a case, some sort of suitcase kind of, where you can transport and put it back in with no problem. And that helps me a lot when I have to put it down and put it back in the case, where it's a lot more tidy than when I leave it here on the table. Now, the whole idea behind the One Light setup is that because I'm correctly exposed, hopefully, the background should be kind of dark, and not only dark, but I would try to make it as blurry as possible. I'm shooting now at f1.4, and that makes the dark background with also the blur, that bokeh. That should allow me to shoot almost in any direction. I could shoot with my kitchen behind me, and in theory, you shouldn't be able to see much behind. Now, talking about the light itself, it's a Smallrig 220D, and yes, there are a lot more options up and down with more or less power. For me, this Smallrig 220D was the best reasonably priced light that I had available. And as I said, this is a daylight light. The white balance is fixed to 5600. And what you actually need, and that's very important to soften the shadows on your face or anywhere really, is a softbox. And they also had a smaller 55 centimeters softbox, which I also ordered, which is about €100, dollars. Yeah, I think it's not even 100, 90 something. And that with the light should, in theory, give me exactly all I needed to make a light, portable, and professional setup. And sometimes I also use it for either product photography or B-roll and have that soft kind of light, or in the background to, again, fake that sunlight and get those flares that are so good looking, at least to my eyes. And of course, you need a C-stand. But after researching a little bit, the truth is that most of them are too big and they are very expensive, very heavy, and they really miss the point of everything I wanted. So I opted to use a tripod that I had in the basement, an old tripod from Newer. I don't even know what it cost. It came with some RGB panels that I ordered some years ago. So altogether, this kit arrived to my flat for a little bit less than 400 euros. And it's a price that should be worth it if it looks as good as I expect. And here it is, my regular setup. The light sits on a cheap Newer tripod that came with RGB panels on a desk slightly higher than the place I work at right here. The camera is right underneath on a small gorilla pod at a more or less, I would say, 45 degrees angle. This allows me to talk into the camera without losing sight of my computer, which I use to either check my script or monitor my audio. And I'm normally trying to get that Rembrandt triangle under one of my eyes, but because I'm switching from the monitor to the camera and sometimes I'm turning my body on my chest towards the camera or towards the computer, it's quite hard to get it right all the time. So I leave the light there and I try not to get perfectionism on the way of good enough. So with this, we can go essentially to any spot in this flat and have a good looking light. The one thing you have to keep in mind is to have some distance between the subject, namely you or whatever your subject is that day, and a wall, because then you have this very ugly shadow in the back that also gives you the feeling of being in a very tight space, in a very small kind of a bunker. I don't like that, but if you're going for that look, go ahead, no problem. One more thing I tried to use is a few props. I don't go crazy with it. As you can see, I have the TV on. Now it's playing some chill hip hop music live over there. There are a few more things. It's just decorate here in my living room. It's nothing special. But I do turn on some of the lights in the flat, like here and behind me. You probably don't see much of a difference now. But for me, for my mood, it does make a difference. Now, if you ask me, Carlos, is it worth the investment? For me, absolutely yes, because not only I can bring it anywhere, almost anywhere I want. I had it in Audi Sport when I was shooting a couple of weeks ago. And it has removed most of the hassle of making videos, at least for me personally. I was struggling a lot trying to get the light right. I was struggling with the light available. I was waiting for sunny days to come so I could film. Living where we live is mostly cloudy from November to March. And right now, simply switching on the light, you immediately have a good light, good looking light. You can see yourself, you look good, you don't look so tired or bad or whatever. And I know that many people don't care about that. But when you turn on the camera and you see that you don't look bad, it really helps your mood, right? Now, will I get more views with this? Will you get more views with this? I highly doubt that. But for sure, will make the experience of watching your videos way more enjoyable and they will look more professional, which again, if you are trying to make some kind of project with your YouTube channel and get in touch with brands, this may be very helpful. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being there. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I will try to answer as good as I can, or text me on Instagram. I try to answer everyone who does. And if you like the video, you do help me if you subscribe and like it. It makes this channel slightly more stable, because for now the range of views is from 600 to 300,000, and it's absolutely bananas to try to calculate what your income or your audience will be. That's the truth. Thank you again. I will see you very soon. Bye bye.